Hello again, and it's Paul, and I think I'm going to try to finish up this tutorial with the bucket conveyor thingy. Yeah, thingy. Okay, whatever. So we got our ball, we got our bucket, and we got our scoop, and whee, there it goes again. Where's the ball? There it is. Back in the bucket. Okay, good. Drop the scoop down. Come on, ball. It's going to reset again. It's going to reset. Yep, there we go. uh, Alright. And the scoop picks up the ball eventually, yeah. Okay. Well, you get the idea how the collisions are working in this. I'm sure if you've seen part 1, you know how to set all this stuff up. It's pretty easy, actually. A Blender is not hard like it used to be, a couple of years ago. It's pretty easy now. So, what we want to do is set up our conveyor next for the bucket. So, how do we want to do that? Okay. What we want is a path. So, we'll add a curve, because most paths are defined by curves. And I think I'll go with a circle, which is a Bezier. It's like this, but it's a cyclic or closed circle. Or closed loop, I mean. Circle is closed. Yeah. So let's click on the circle and add it. And I'm just going to move it up a bit. There should be some path properties. Let's see, what have we got in our path properties? I think there is a way to keep it flat, but I'm not sure where it's at. Oh, I guess 2D, there we go. We don't need it fill. I turn off fill. None, I guess, right? Well, let's just go to edit mode. And I'm sure there's some way to turn off that fill. No? I don't know why it's filly. But what we want to do is fill node twisty. It's fine. I don't know how to get the fill to turn off. Seems like it turns on anyways. Don't know why it's filling it. I don't need a fill on it. Off cyclic for now, just so we can find the ends. Okay. So let's circle like this. I'm gonna delete and risks. And right now I am going to extrude it. X, I guess that's X right there. Like so. And I'm going to grab that. Yeah, just grabbing handles, extruding stuff. It lines up. I'm just eyeballing this thing, by the way, if anyone wants to know. Sometimes I gotta click back here to get past the handle. And E for extrude, right? Yeah. Oh, shh. Is he doing that? I don't know. There's probably a way to make this faster, but I can't think of it offhand. Like I said, I'm still fairly new to Blender. Even though I seem to be making progress here. Alright. And extrude one more, I guess. Click cyclic. I don't know why it's filling that. I don't need that fill at all. Oh, well. I just need the path, is really all I need. And I want to round the ends of this path. To some approaching circular. Perfectly circular, but approaching circular. And yeah, sometimes if you can't click the handle or click past the handle, you gotta click in another spot. It's a little bit of a pain, but nothing too terrible. Alright. Let's just click and extrude, and I click that to make it back to a circle, because, not previous, but this one here, cyclic, they use a... Why it fails when you make it cyclic, I'm not sure. Like I said, I thought I turned it off. Not the cyclic, but the fill off. And it's hard to tell if this is roundy. I guess I could join two circles and then combine them in some way, but... Alright. And over there, like so. And if I click two of these, I believe I can subdivide the edge. Yeah. Alright. Just looking at the options here. Well, I got fill set to none, but it's still filling. I don't know why it's doing it. Huh. Anyhow, this is the path. And edit mode, are there any options to get rid of that fill? I don't see any way to select a face in NURBS mode, but... Let's just say I am stuck with an unwanted fill. I don't know how to get rid of it. Alrighty. So, maybe I should just turn it to 3D. Well, in 3D it goes away, so I guess that's okay. Switch to 3D. 2D for getting it so it stays on a plane, but once you got it, switch to 3D and I guess the fill goes away. And I don't really want to fill, but yeah. Well, it shouldn't show. So, what do we want to do now is we want to orientate this thing. So this is our path our bucket is going to go on. So let's make it a little bit bigger. And rotate it on the Z. Let's say, use control so I can stop at 90 degrees. This. And we'll rotate it on the y-axis, also by 90 degrees, if I can get it. There. So it is like this. Now I'm going to rotate on the x-axis by some amount. It's 45 good. Should I go a steeper angle? 60? Let's go with 60. Alright. And this is going to be your conveyor belt equivalent. Lack of a better term. And this is the path that the bucket is going to move on. As it goes round and round and up. We might have to adjust the simulation time. Yeah, it takes a little while to get right. And this bucket is actually going to move through the tray with this setup. I know you can model out, put a hole or something, but you gotta remember that if there's nothing to catch the ball, it's going to fall all the way out. So you gotta have some. You could probably come up with a little mechanism to drop the ball into the scoop here, but I'm just in this demonstration we're just going to have the scoop go through the bucket, but it will work as a conveyor. So we get this path here. And sorry about the delay there. We're trying to figure out why that path is showing shaded, but it's just how things go sometimes. Okay, so we got our path. We got our bucket. So now we need to make our bucket go onto the path. We do that with a constraint, and I believe it is follow path. So we click on there, and weird, what the heck happened? Well, the bucket is orientating to the path based on its own location, which probably wasn't zeroed, and based on the path's position, which is probably all scaled goofy. If we click on the N to see the properties while the path is selected, and if you look at rotation and scale, yeah, this all messed up. So let's hit Control A and apply rotation and scale, zero that stuff, or make it 1 unit. Okay, so that's okay. And now the bucket is, or not the bucket, but the scoop. I'm calling that the bucket, and this is the scoop. So we see our scoop is off, and it's off by location, which in its own case is not zeroed. So I believe we can set its location this way. And that set the origin, but not the actual thing. So we want origin to geometry, but then we want to zero these values. So let's do that. Yeah, that puts us on there. There we go. And as you can see, the starting point isn't where we had it, but that's okay, because see this offset value? That moves us all the way around, and we're good. You could have it set to follow curve, which will rotate the bucket to follow the curve. depending on the orientation, but in this case we don't want that turned on. We want curve radius? No. Fixed position? Probably not. But it will be an offset. So, let's put our bucket pretty close to where we had it so we know it will catch using these offset value. The offset value. So, somewhere there, it actually looks like it's in a good spot. So, yeah, I'm just going to leave that there because in my case I got lucky and it's in a good spot. So if we were to test this right now, the ball falls in. I mean, nothing's animated with as far as the conveyor belt, and it goes in the bucket, so that's good. But when we want to animate our bucket on the conveyor belt, what you do is you go back to the path, and you go to this little path object data properties thing. You click on that, and somewhere down here is path animation. And this is how you animate this sucker. And it has total frames, which is specific to the path. Has nothing to do with these frames, but you can make them match if you want. Really, there's no reason to. This is pretty much a number. You decide how many frames you want it. But you gotta remember, this total number of frames here represents the distance all the way around this whole entire path. So when you're moving an object, remember 100 is one complete trip. But if you were to increase this number, it would go to whatever that number is. And there's other options here I'm not going to mess with, but evaluation time is how you animate it. So if you drag this evaluation time around, it will just keep your path going and going, which is pretty neat. And I'm going to set that back to 0. And I'm going to hover over it and hit I, and that has keyframed it, which means it is now set up for animating. So we can go to the animation window layout. I mean, I could change one of the windows, but I'll just use the animation window layout. And we have the Bezier selected, evaluation time. This default layout isn't set up for the size of my monitor. I still use an old CRT. I gotta update one of these days, but I gotta find something that fits my budget. Enough of that. Let's just get on to this. Move the window around. Talked about that last time. And the Bezier selected with the evaluation time. But it's only got 1 point, I believe. Somewhere in here. Yeah. It's not animated at the moment, but it is selected, I believe. So I hit N for the properties. And what we want to do is add a modifier and a generator. And that, I believe, should get us going. So as long as this is selected, just hit add a modifier, generator. And yeah, generator will put up the evaluation time. This X represents your frame value, and this multiplies by that. And Y is your time on the path. So it's just going to keep cycling at that rate. Yeah, it looks complicated, but it's simpler than you'd think. So let's go back to this view. And if I were to click on play, this thing should be animating. Thing is, I don't know which way is positive or negative, so we'll just have to play it. And it's going the right way. Cool. And, oh no! We just lost our ball. Okay, I got it going way too fast. That's part of it too. So we got it going way too fast, but it's in the right direction. So let's go back to animation. So having this positive is good because it's going in the right direction. If it wasn't, you'd switch that to negative. It's going way too fast, so let's dial that value down. Say 300. Or 0.3 actually. Or not 300. That would have been ridiculously fast. No, just 0.3. Okay. So now let's try it again. Yeah, it's a nice, casual, leisurely pace. Ball is bouncing on something. Is it bouncing on the path? Does the path have collision? I don't think it does, but we'll see. No, there shouldn't be anything on the path itself. Huh. Weird. Weird. I wonder what it's doing. It's acting like the ball is actually hitting it. Let's try playing this again. Ball goes in there. Whoop. Whee! And it goes out of the bucket. So we need a bigger bucket, or should I just, actually, let's just start the ball from a lower height. Does not need to fall that far. Maybe it's just the bounciness. Could be a little vertex or something is nipping on. For to go to Z. And we can see kind of the wires there, so yeah, it could be it. It could be it. So let's just do this. Run our simulation. Remember, so this is a bucket conveyor. Okay, so it's not hitting the wireframe. It had to be hitting the bucket somewhere. But now here comes our scoop. And, oh, it doesn't go in. So what do we want to do? Let's take our scoop. And let's rotate it a little bit. I'm just going to use this handle here to do it. Since we're not moving it off the center point, it should maintain that rotation. And that way it will get scooped in. Should be good, right? Let's see. Let's see. Alright. Turn off. Just to select everything. Yeah, you know you like this. Boring, Paul. Alright. But you're gonna learn along with me. I'm still learning this. So the bucket does not rotate along the path because I don't have those settings on. But it does maintain its own rotation. Here it comes. And, oh, we almost got it. Almost. Not quite, though. And are we going to run out of time? No, reset again. Yeah, but it is working as conveyor. I could probably make it slightly faster. You know what? You know what? I am going to edit this bucket a little bit. How do I want to edit this thing? Let's get out of edit mode here. Back to object mode. Center on it. And on our number pad, if you got one, I believe it is a slash key on the number pad. Or there should be a way to view selected. Or not view that one, but solo the view, I guess. Where is it? Look, I see navigation in. Oh, view global local. That's what it is. That's how you solo your view. And it is the slash and number pad. So that's it by itself. Let's go to edit mode. And I think I will just hit B for box select. So let's unselect all that. Control tab, edge, alt, X gets loop. Is there a way to select by loops? So you know in Wings I can select by a loop, which will select, here it is, okay, inner region, that's what I wanted. And what I'm going to do is Hit G for grab. And it's not moving the way I want, so I probably have to switch from global here to local. Yeah, I think that's it. G and then Y on local. I'll hit Y twice. There we go. And I am going to make this bucket slightly longer. Just enough that I think that should be good. Or it's not a bucket, it's a scoop. I called it a scoop. The bucket is the big thing that keeps the ball from falling out of the universe here. And back to the global instead of local view. And reset this back to 0. Let's move our view over here. Let's try this again. Slightly larger bucket now should catch the ball. Should catch the ball. Like I said, it's simple. The bucket keeps the ball from falling through. Yay, we got the ball. Alright, good, good. Look, it's just going to hold on to the ball till it hits the bottom. Or the timing, the simulation time runs out. Let's speed that up so we go back to our animation. Actually, we need to select this path, because that's what has the evaluation time. Pardon me. Go to animation. And then we go to this. Let's make it a little bit one step faster. This is trial and error here. And here it comes. I did not collide. Oops. Oh, that's just weird. Okay. Apparently when you edit, you gotta apply transforms. I bet you that's what it is. Okay. So, let's do visual transform. Oh, where'd it go? Oh, let's not do that. Let's try rotation and scale. Like, let's just do a rotation and scale. And make sure location is there too. Alright. Let's try this again. This is acting like the bucket was where the bucket was. Now it should work correctly. Now it should work correctly. Oh, you didn't catch it this time. Going too fast. It's going to make the second round before it resets. Oh, just barely. Okay, but it was catching the second time around. Which means I think we got most of the stuff good. So, we have our little scoop here selected. And what we are going to do is object, and should be a duplicate linked, which is Alt-D. But you can do it from the menu like I was just showing, or we can hit Alt-D while this is selected. And it'll give you options to move it, but we're not going to move it, we're just going to right click. And without selecting the new duplicate, or without doing anything else selection wise, let's switch to our constraints. And our duplicate comes with the constraints applied, so what we do is offset it by some amount. And now if we run the animation, both of them will follow the path as a conveyor. See how that works? So now we are going to fill our conveyor path to make our bucket conveyor. So, hit Alt-D on this one, and right click, and make sure nothing else happens. And you'll also see the scoop, which is the copy. So the first one is just scoop. The first copy is scoop 001. And if you're watching down here, this is scoop 002. So we just do an add or offset. Like so, Alt D, right click, move our offset, Alt D, right click. Oh wait, I wasn't on. Yeah, when you do the Alt D, you have to be in this space. My mouse is over there, so it didn't want to do anything. So move your mouse over the 3D workspace, then do Alt D, and then right click. Something like this. And you can always adjust the spacing and stuff. In my case, I got my hands on a script which calculates the curve length. For some reason, this is not built in. You gotta get a script for it. And if you have a curve selected, you can calculate that. It will give you a value. And you can divide that value by the number of things if you really want it evenly spaced. But eyeballing it, for most part, should be good enough. If I can figure out where I got this, I might post a link in my description, but we'll see. It's been a little while, but I'm sure it's still on the internet somewhere. It's useful. Should have been something that's part of Blender, but for whatever reason they did not put that in. I don't know why, but sometimes they just forget things. So many things to worry about. It's just like one of those things falling off the wayside. That's probably what it is. It's not like they it's not like they aren't trying. It's just that they got like 50 things they're juggling while they're working on this project. Oh well. It's cool though. It's cool. Ain't complaining, and this thing's doing some pretty cool stuff for not paying any money on it. Actually, I'm going to move these up a little bit. I think I can go tighter spaced. Like I said, I'm just eyeballing it in this case. I'm not too worried if they collide here. You can redo your path and stuff. These things should still follow it. But once you redo stuff, remember, like you said, you gotta apply all the stuff again, so make sure it doesn't act funny. It's even just editing these scoops, you noticed how weird it was. So, I think one or two more, and it should be it for the conveyor. I'll D on that one. It's selected, isn't it? It doesn't seem like it did anything though. There's no duplicate there, so let's try it again. And I don't know what's going on here. It's not duplicating it, is it? It's weird. Oh, because I'm hitting Control, derp. I'm an idiot. Alt D. That's what I get for not looking at what I'm doing. Not paying attention. Right, one more. One more. I think this should be good. This should be good. Remember, only use these with the offset and path here. And oh, I think that's it. We're just, yeah. That should be it. So let's run our animation. Each one of these things should collide. Is it moving too fast? It's moving too fast. Oh. Yay! Alright, so we got our ball conveyor working. And if you want, you could probably make extra objects to help guide the ball and keep it channeled in these things. But as you can see, it does work. So you know what I'm going to do next is Alt D. Alt D should work for the balls too. Yee! And I'm just making this up as I go along. Making sure you don't pass through each other. Let's give them some room. Alright. And bam. Nice. But watch as the balls hit the bottom, they're gonna go flying out. And some of them fall off. That's okay though. I'm not worried about that. But it is working. So let's add a slide now, shall we? Alright. So just like the bucket, you just want it to pass through the bottom. And I think I'm going to do something a little different for the slide here. I'm going to use pardon me. That's what I get for having chili for supper, right? Alright. Little indigestion. Yeah, that's not the best thing to do before a tutorial, but anyhow. I am going to now add another cube. Which we are going to edit. Oh. And I'm going to center it. And I believe this is front back. So, shall we do edit mode? Control tab, face. Hit A to deselect, then A again to select that face. Or not A. Select that face. Alright. And I am going to do like this. You know what? I'm going to go back to object mode so I can position this. Sort geometry. Like that matters just yet. Because what I want to do is get this position to make sure it is wide enough to take the ball out of the bucket. Should be at least the same width. But I think I'll make it slightly wider, slightly larger. Doesn't have to be perfect. This is not a perfect model here. This is just for fun. But yeah. Alright. Is this close? Yeah, it looks close. I'm going to do that thing where I solo it again, so I can just pay attention to this. And it's going to be fairly simple. What I am going to do is go back to edit mode. Extrude. Oh, doesn't do both at the same time like that. And there we go, individual origins is what I need for that. And extrude like so. And extrude like that. And what else should I do? What else? Let's see. That looks good though. I do edge here. Control out for the ring. Okay. And subdivide. That should be good. Something like this, I think. I think that will work. What am I doing? Here. And shouldn't have to worry about where it's positioned just yet. Actually, that I could probably put on another layer or get it out of the way completely. But right now I'm just going to leave it up. Back to object mode. Move its origin back to its geometry again. And I am going to now use a 3D path to make our slide back to the bucket. So let's go add curve, Bezier, however you want to say it. And switch to edit mode to see which way this thing's facing. Okay. so. Scale it up a bit. And so what I'm going to do is have one end right here. I'm going to bring it around. So let's see. To gotta hit Control A to apply. So back to edit mode while that's selected. Oh, I gotta put it on the actual selection, right? How to and this one goes all the way down here, and signal goes out here. Yeah, I'm just moving these points. So now order. We'll arrive there eventually. And it needs to be subdivided at least, what, twice? Make sure both ends are selected, right? I think that's it. There. That should give us enough handles right there to move this thing out and about in a way that's usable. So, I gotta swing this out. Oh, I grabbed the wrong thing. And if you're trying to figure out what I'm doing, this path is what that ramp will be generated on. In case you didn't know. In case it wasn't obvious enough. Hit the dot key. I never paid to bring my view in like that. I'm having trouble selecting it. I just gotta select something else and go back to it. Alright, there's probably a hotkey or something. I don't know if that lets you be more specific. I'm trying to reselect something. Alright, I'm sure there is. And how's this curve going as far as banking? I think there's also a tilt value for each point, which controls the bank of this thing. We want to bank it so the ball stays in. Alright. Which may be necessary at some of these points. Like so. It's like a roller coaster track in some ways. But it's actually a slide. It's not a roller coaster track, it's a slide, but you don't want to fall out of the slide either. If you were the wall, you want to go back to the bucket instead of off the edge of the universe. So, let's get this working. It just takes a little bit of tweaking, but if you see what I'm doing, you should be able to do this as well. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, I think it is. If I'm not the world's best instructor, you should still go, oh, this is how it's done. Alright. If I can do it, you can do it. That's the way I look at it. So, I'm no genius. I'm clever, but I'm no genius. At least by my definition, genius. Alright. Not only that, we want to try to grab these handles to space out those little herringbone things. You kind of want to keep them even if you can help it. Because that lets you know your tension. It'll look good. Look good and work good. It looks like our tilt or banking needs to be fixed here. Hit the dot key in the number pad again. Yeah, this one is tilting out. So, tilt that back in. Yeah, like so. And that key here, you want to tilt it in, not out. Into the curve. You don't want to get thrown out of the curve. So the ball doesn't want to fall off the universe here. It's a little bit of Blender universe. Da 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 da. The outer handle. Nice round curve. Okay. I think that's satisfactory for now. So, let's get back to object mode. We have our path for our slide back to the bucket. And I'm going to rename this. Actually, I'm going to rename the curve. This will be called slide. And a piece we worked on here, this will be slide segment. Alright. So pick our slide. And is it a bevel object or a taper object? Or is it, no, I think it's just an array. So go modifier, array on that. And our offset, I believe, is on the X, but it's on the Y. Yep. And what we want to do is, right now it's the fixed count, but if we add another modifier, which is curve, somewhere over here, here it is, and we put it on the slide. And you know what? Our centers are somewhere off, somewhere weird. Okay. So while that is selected, let's hit Control A. Control A. Rotation scale. Nope. Oh, deformation axes. That might help. One of them shall be right, I believe. Alrighty, what's going on here? Okay, so we have our slide. We have this. So let's remove that for now. And I'll hit Control A again. Rotation and scale. Control A again. Application. What we might want to do is set the origin to geometry. Pardon me. I'm trying to figure this out. Where is it? It is off the edge somewhere weird. Obviously, it's scaling somewhere weird. Maybe there's a setting on here I have to check. turn off that. Turn off the deform. Yeah, that's part of it. And go back to our modifier. Formation axis is Y. Is it even right side up? Yep. I'm liking. I'm going to take that off there one more time. And I'm just going to let's see, what should I do? I'm just going to move the object to the world center. So if I go, and you see me mess up, so you got plenty of freedom to see where I correct things. So let's go cursor to center. While that is selected, let's object snap that object selection to cursor, and then we'll apply our stuff because it might have to be from the world center. That might be it. Where was it? Right here, curve. We'll get it eventually. Eventually. So let's try Control A again. Alright. And it's in the wrong order. This might be in the wrong order. Alright, that might help too. Trying to figure out why it's being weird. Okay. So this thing is supposed to be on our slide. Just could be is that our path is upside down. I don't know why it would be like that. Alright, what's going on with our path? Well, you know what it could be. It's not anything to do with this one, but this one should have had transference applied. I bet that might be it. So, object mode. I gotta hide these. Alright. Let's move that up a bit for now. Let's select that. And let's press N. Scale and all that stuff. Rotation. Rotation and scale. Now let's select that. And turn this on. Turn this on and see what it is doing. Huh. Okay, a little bit better, a little bit better. Okay. So let's rotate that on the y-axis. There. I'm just going to turn it by 90 degrees. And get down like so. And it looks like it's kind of where we want our path now, which is good. This is what I was going for. We can see our curve comes up. Is it too high? It's hard to tell. But it's doing exactly what I want it to do. So now I can change this to fit curve. And I gotta pick the curve again. There. And merge net. If I believe I can scale it a little bit and it'll fit the curve even better. So if I have this selected, I'm going to scale Y. That's about it. Alright. So now I should just be able to grab the curve to position this thing. Alright. And I can see I was off a bit too. So, let's do this. Let's do this. But you get the idea of what I'm trying to do. And if you can't find something on the list here, there is this little search thing. So I'm going to type in slide. Or even if first letters, it finds what I'm looking for. Just as a curve. That one. And let's go back to edit mode for the curve. We can see what we are doing. And let's move this. So the slide comes over here. So So what will happen is when a bucket passes through that, the ball should just pop out and start rolling down the slide. Should. Doesn't mean it won't go flying off, but you never know. You never know. Should be good though. Should be good. This ball comes to our slide. Goes here. Try to even this out so it doesn't turn too fast. And see, if you get it too fast, you start getting these wrinkles. It could be a problem. I'll go back to our tilt here. Yeah, it's tricky because it is a 3D object. Alright. Alrighty, is that it? I think that's it. Might have to actually apply the mesh to the segment here to make this slide. Let's see. I don't know if the array duplicates will work for collisions, so one way to find out, right? Turn that off, get a little bit better view. Oh, alright, I think that should work. I think that should work. Alright. So, let's get out of edit mode here, go back to object mode. Select that, which is the segment to build the slide. Let's go physics. Collision. Rigid body, I guess. Passive. Let's see if this works or not. Running backwards. Let's go. Ball goes up in escape. Let's carry it over to slide. And it doesn't place in the slide. Which means that, yeah, I probably have to apply the modifiers. Alright. doesn't hit. Guess I'll have to hit this one first. And this one. There we go. Now I probably don't even need that path anymore, but it's all good. This should still have collisions, yes. Alright. So yeah, you gotta go from that being an array to an actual mesh. But it should work now. Let's see. Let's see how our little toy here works. And if it does, then we're done. Oh. The end just sticks out a little bit too much, huh? It's popping the balls out. Come on. I wonder where it's hit. Ah, I know what it is. Everything else, you gotta hit Control A, rotation and scale, Control A, make sure it has location. Let's try this one more time, because this is probably why it's being weird. And we have our conveyor carrying the balls up to their slide. And they're getting popped out. And you know why they're getting popped out? I know why they're getting popped out. I just figured it out. I gotta make that a mesh. Derp. Now let's try it again. Alright. So now everyone else will run into the same problems I do here. Oh, beautiful. Here we go. Isn't that just great? There to go. Whee! So that's how you make a bucket conveyor type system, physics simulation in Blender, and you can set up your camera for rendering this. Gonna do that right now. I'm sure you can figure that much out. But there you go. You got your balls rolling down the slide, and then go back in the bucket, and these scoops take them right back up. Pretty neat, huh? Alright, have fun, guys.